Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I played Hitman Codename 47. I played all of it. I beat all of it. I killed every target. I need to use the bathroom.
My child, I know your sins weigh heavy on your shoulders, but there is a path to salvation yet. You need not play any more of those games. Just trust in the path of the Almighty.
If you ever want to see your friend again, deliver $15 to the church outhouse by Saturday. I don't have that kind of money. I'll play Hitman 2 for $5 more. Oh, hello. If there's anything I've learned in the years I've spent at church trying to figure out why Hitman Codename 47 was something that had to happen to me, it's not that God isn't real. It's that he hates me. Because lo and behold, I now have to play Hitman 2 Silent Assassin in order to save the pastor who said that he would get me into heaven if I did all of his chores. Now, this isn't all bad. I mean, how bad could this game be if it's something I could actually hold? Unlike Codename 47, I didn't find nearly as much information about the development of this game. Just some basic points about how they took the criticism from the first game and tried to apply that to make the second game better. Which I would hope is the case for most sequels. Also, unlike the first, this game would get a console release. The game launched on PS2 and Xbox alongside PC, with even the GameCube getting a version a year later. This always felt weird to me. Not that M-rated games don't exist on the GameCube, but when I think of Hitman, Nintendo is almost never in the equation. These are PlayStation games to me. I'm playing this through the HD collection on the PS3, which just makes me wonder again why they didn't use this as a chance to port Codename 47. I'm sure there's some code in there that makes it harder than it sounds, but still. The first game in this package has a 2 on it, and the story does pick up from the end of the first and references it quite a bit. Why not at least have a story recap? Last time I mentioned that I had hoped for this game to be an improvement over the first game. As much as I think Codename 47 sucks, to say there wasn't potential wouldn't be fair, as there are points where it felt pretty satisfying. Silent Assassin doesn't try to break new ground or evolve the series in any meaningful way. You can tell from the moment you start playing how similar it is to the first game. It simply tries to take what Codename 47 did and do it again, but better. And for the most part, I think it succeeds at that. This was a much more enjoyable experience for me. I didn't have to resort to cheating to get by. However, there are some key points where I feel like it actually falters, as a few of my problems with this game are ones that I didn't have with the first game, or at least aren't ones that were as big of problems. One thing that didn't improve, at least in the original release, was the unfortunate depictions of other cultures. The first game had some questionable voices, some questionable text prompts, and enough stereotypes to fill a Vine compilation. But in this game, one of the levels took place in a Sikh holy site, the Harmandir Sahib. In 1984, there were anti-Sikh riots where hundreds of Sikhs were killed here, so understandably it was seen in poor taste to have a level set here where you had to kill people. I don't know how much backlash this got back in the day, but future versions of the game would remove references to the temple, as well as Agent Smith calling them a slur. And it's pretty obvious that they just cut his dialogue too. But other than that, the levels aren't altered.
I'm here to do some standard surveillance to relax a bit and get back in shape. And suddenly the place is swarming with these trying to kill me.
This game has more story going on than the first, but that's not saying much. We actually open in the hospital in Romania where the first game ended, with 2 mysterious figures watching the security footage of how 47 escaped after killing Ortmeyer. When the game really starts, we see 47 in a church in Sicily, tending to the gardens and following the pastor in an attempt to find inner peace. I'm assuming that 47 figured out more about his past in a way that we don't get to see, because he clearly mentions how he's not supposed to exist and was created with the sole purpose of murder. But just like the first game, we don't really get those details. The pastor that he's been confiding in, Father Vittorio, gets kidnapped, and 47, not being able to pay the ransom, digs up his past and contacts the ICA to help him find Vittorio. And I actually like this direction for 47's character and hope it one day gets revisited. It would have to be in a prequel because of how the current trilogy has played out, But I like how 47 is unsure of himself, and when he contacts the ICA, there's an urgency in his voice. You can tell that he genuinely sees Vittorio as a friend and someone he feels he can be honest and vulnerable with, though the ransom part kinda confuses me. I know it's mentioned that 47 made hefty donations to the church, but did they already spend it all? Did 47 not have his own savings? The ransom is $500,000, and later we learn that the standard rate for a hit is $100,000. We should have earned that through the hits in the last game alone, but I guess it's all gone? The first thing about this intro level that showed me that the devs have truly improved was the tutorial. It actually teaches you how to play, how to sneak. There are hints throughout the first level. I could cry right now. After the tutorial, the first hit is a gang leader holding Vittorio. The intro cutscene shows us a few ways we can get in. In my first attempt, I took out this flower delivery person. Turns out the anesthetic needs to be held down to actually knock them out, and tapping it like the fiber wire just doesn't work, so they immediately got up and ran. This method only got me so far. You're not allowed in once you've delivered the flowers. I eventually found out that this guard comes outside and pees, so you can get in that way. And here's where I noticed one of the ways this game is a step backwards from Codename 47. A new feature in this game is the suspicion meter, basically telling you how suspicious you look. If it fills up too much, you'll be caught. The issue is that I'm in the proper disguise, but the guards are suspicious of me and I can't tell why. If I get too close to them, they start shooting. As much as it felt like getting caught was inevitable in the first game, for the most part, if you had the right clothes on and no weapon out, you were safe. Maybe getting some goons telling you to leave, but here it feels like the disguises only work from a distance. If you look at an enemy for too long or you don't have the right gun out, which they never explain to you by the way, you're getting caught. And what's even worse is that running is considered suspicious. You need to walk if you're near an NPC, and this is unbearable. You walk so slowly. I don't know what compelled them to make running something that can get you caught, but it bogs the game down at times. Not that it matters, because sometimes even walking is considered suspicious, so I just started running everywhere for the hell of it. Now thankfully this game has a save system. Every mission you get 7 saves that let you reload to almost any point. The downside is that it's your only form of a checkpoint. If you don't save and you die, that's a full reset. But this gives you so much more room to breathe if you're attentive with it, and I never ran out of saves for a level. Also, a guard seeing you isn't a full-blown alert. You can take them out before others notice, and there were times where I could get back into hiding after a small shootout. The problem with this is that like the first game, missions can quickly devolve into gunning everyone down and rushing to an exit. That's sort of how my first run went. Eventually I found a sniper and was able to shoot him without anyone seeing me, but when I went to get the key off his body, they were alerted anyway. Not that it matters, as it turns out Vittorio isn't here anymore, and that's pretty much where that plot gets dropped. Diana tells 47 that some Russians took him and the trail goes cold. I assume the next jobs 47 takes is so that he can pay the ransom and get Vittorio back that way. The first mission after this is payment for the info the ICA gave us, but I have to assume that after that there's standard hits because 47 and Diana discuss payment. Like I mentioned before, a standard hit is 100,000 and 47 asks for triple that, so he should have more than enough well before the climax. And it was kind of disappointing to me because the beginning of the game had a pretty good story presentation. I liked the way the characters were interacting and seeing 47 in a more vulnerable position, but after the first mission, it's just standard hits for clients. The first level is in St. Petersburg. The client has set up a meeting with a general that he wants us to kill. And something I like about this game is that it got rid of the purchase phase of preparation from Codename 47. Instead, if you leave a level with a weapon, you get to keep it and bring it in future levels. And like the last game, each area has multiple missions, but they function like the Columbia level, where in between these missions you don't get to prepare and you just keep what you had on you from before, though sometimes the disguise isn't included in that, which was kind of annoying. But generally, if a level had an intended method that you need something specific for, there was an ICA pickup somewhere with everything that you need. Like in the first mission, we grab a sniper that was planted in a locker for us and sneak into this abandoned apartment to get a good view of the meeting. This is where you'll learn that the fiber wire is useless and the silenced pistol is a godsend. Like the last game, if you're not sneaking when walking behind someone, they'll notice and turn around. But sneaking is so slow in this game that anyone you want to choke out would need to be standing still for a while. But with a silenced pistol, you can just shoot them in the back of the head and then move on. Sometimes the auto aim can screw you over, but a silenced shot to the head became my default way of taking anyone down. It's quick, easy, and makes hiding the body easier because there's not a long wind down animation. The suspicion isn't too bad in disguise here. There's a sewer system and the streets are big enough to keep your distance. When you get into the building, there are actually 4 generals in the meeting, and you need to wait for Diana to give you the details on the right target, and all of these hints suck. Being right-handed doesn't narrow it down. I can't really see if anyone's drinking, and all of them look bald to me. This is where the save system comes in clutch. You can save before you take the shot, and if you hit the wrong guy, you can just reload, which I did the first time, but after that I hit the right one and escaped through the metro. Turns out the client now wants the other generals dead too because they're suspicious as to why one of them exploded during their meeting. The next mission kind of feels like an homage to the first 2 Hong Kong levels from Codename 47. You're interrupting a meeting between the general and his connection to the mafia. There's a radio tower on the map that you can sneak a sniper rifle onto, and when you shoot one, the other will run and you can blow them up in the car. But because I am extremely talented and didn't know where the car was to set the bomb up in time, I timed my shot to hit both of them at once. I should mention that one of the ways this game improved over the first is having a much more detailed map. There's a legend for one, but often just by checking the map I was able to come up with a plan based on the items at ICA pickup locations. I didn't need a guide for most of the game, just being thorough and leaving no witnesses alive. I was able to get through most of the levels pretty quickly. The next mission has us killing the 3rd general and helping his hostage escape. Now this one went badly for me. In these tight corridors, it's hard to avoid suspicion even in the right outfit. A lot of bodies were left in my wake, and at times it felt like that was the safer option considering that my escape was via blowing up a wall. The hostage turns out to be Agent Smith from the last game, once again in a compromising position, but he helps you escape through the sewers. The last general is at a party that we have to infiltrate, and the client wants something from his safe. Based on the briefing, I assume that it's possible to find an invitation and enter through the front because Diana mentions that it'll be hard to sneak in any weapons. But I found this waiter near the spawn point and easily snuck in. I managed to kill the general by accident. The ICA pickup contains poison, and in the kitchen you can grab a champagne glass. They looked empty, so I tried to put it down to see if I just needed the poison out when I selected it, but selecting the poison with the glass in hand has 47 automatically put it in. Then when I was walking looking for where I was supposed to serve it, the general bumped into me and took it out of my hands, dying on the toilet. Unfortunately, getting the safe wasn't as easy because it's basically impossible to get the contents out of the building without being seen, and holding it makes you look suspicious, but once you find your way out of the building, it's pretty smooth sailing from there. This first set of levels was pretty good. Sure, it still feels like I'm just shooting everyone to get by, but I felt like I was able to explore the levels a bit more, and in turn I was rewarded with items and weapons that made planning my next steps easier, and I was genuinely having a lot of fun with these first few levels. I didn't like the next ones nearly as much. The game takes a pretty big drop off in quality at this point. In the first mission, you have to kill Hayamoto Jr. and plant a tracking device inside of him so it can be tracked to find his father. This level starts you in a hostile area with 2 nearby guards. The only safe place on this map is behind this rock while you wait for them to look somewhere else. But once you do manage to take them out without someone seeing them, people still see through your disguise all the time. Luckily, as long as you can get to this plate, you can finish the mission without ever seeing Hayamoto. Just cut open this fish in a nearby closet and plant both the poisoned fish and tracking device in his food, and then you just have to wait it out. He'll eat the poison and the tracking device all in one bite. But the next 2 missions must have been made by people who were big fans of the first 2 Columbia missions. You just have to reach the end. There's no targets, no one you have to kill. But there are snipers who can basically one-shot you and you can't really see them for shit. You're told to go to the ICA pickup spot and wait for more instruction. This is a lie, as you have to just start sneaking to the exit. Diana will not call you. There's really nothing at the ICA pickup place that told me where I needed to go next. You just have to get to the exit. There is a crossbow, which is neat as it's silent, but this level is just tedious to traverse, and the next follows this exact same structure too. You have to walk all the way to the castle, then turn off 3 generators and enter the building. There are snipers here too, and for some reason you get caught for entering the base, even as a guard. Once again, the mission of killing Hayamoto Sr. went terribly for me. You're seen as suspicious no matter what. You could be a guard, one of these ninjas, it doesn't matter. So I just gunned everyone in my way with a silenced SMG. Also, this lady's here, and she was in Hong Kong in the last game. That's neat, I guess. I took the direct approach to killing Hayamoto, though it seems like there's a way you can kill him using the helicopter that I escaped in. You're prompted to plant a bomb, so I wonder what that run would look like. I'll give this game this. I do see more options for kills than before, but as much as I'd like to try them, it feels tiring to even think about. Again, I was getting seen through disguise constantly, and to try some of these more subtle methods, I don't know how I'd reasonably get to that point. It takes more than just having options to make me want to see all of them through. Not only do I need to figure out that it's an option, but the path needs to at least start clear enough for me to want to give it a shot. The sniper in the first level is a good example. I just happened to find it, and I knew that Giuseppe would come out to the balcony to practice golf. So I put the two together and shot him without being seen. No other level accomplishes this for me. I can see the options, but I have no idea on how I would approach them. The next few areas are a bit shorter, only running me about 45 minutes each as opposed to St. Petersburg in Japan being close to 2 hours. Part of it is that there are only 3 segments as opposed to 4, but the levels are also much shorter and feel simpler. Even if my runs were fast because I started blasting, but even without that, there aren't that many steps. Like in the first mission of Malaysia, you're supposed to start a fire alarm with a smoke bomb, then sneak downstairs as a firefighter. But I didn't get there fast enough, and going in as a guard led to all the other guards turning on me. But other than that, it's that simple. Get downstairs, break this computer, and we have to kill Charlie Sijan. But for some reason, the only image we have of him is when he was 6. We don't even get the very relevant information that he has a twin brother who looks identical to him. I don't remember if they clarified that both had to go, but if not, oops. But before we find his brother, we have to plant a hacking device in the server in the building. And for some reason, 47 got out of his outfit of a guard that works in the building and changed back into a suit of someone who's an intruder. This level is just a bunch of back and forth. Even if you kill everyone, you need to find the key card to get into the computer room, but there's a red herring. The real one is with this guy. Pretty unremarkable, except for some reason when you plant the device, someone other than Diana contacts you to tell you about what you have to do next. And it's never brought up again. She just says Diana isn't there at the moment, like she got up and went to the bathroom. Diana's back for the briefing right after you cross the sky bridge, which isn't that much later. This is where they confirm that the twin brother is also a target, and they tell you to make it look like a robbery gone wrong. Can do. I don't know why 47 changed again, not that I was in an outfit that would have made a difference, but hey, they wanted it to look like a robbery that turned into a murder, so I achieved that. And I got some valuable items for my trouble that I'm sure are worth a lot of money. Remember Father Vittorio? Like, I understand the first level we were looking for him, then after that we owed the ICA for the information even though it was a dead end. Now, the wiki says that 47 considered Vittorio dead, or at least as good as dead, but then why keep doing hits? As far as we know, 47 wants to find some form of inner peace, and we wouldn't see that revisited until the end of the game. So, from the St. Petersburg mission to now, it's basically just random hits, and starting with Malaysia, the levels feel much smaller and way more inconsequential. Like I said, all 3 missions took me less than an hour. The next level in Afghanistan has 2 targets that are apparently optional according to the wiki. The briefing makes it sound like you need to kill one before the other, but the second target spawns near the starting point, and if you're fast you can gun them down without being seen. They'll find the body, but I was able to sneak out and grab whatever I needed from him without anyone detecting me. I don't know how else you're supposed to get this guy or the key he has, because if you're caught, he books it for the exit and leaves. This is another level where the suspicion despite a disguise makes me feel really confused as to how you properly do it. The other target is in such a guarded area that I can't imagine how else to get to him. But that's nothing compared to the next mission where you need to smuggle a sniper rifle through the streets. No matter what, a big ass sniper rifle is suspicious, and you need to take it out into the open to get a good shot of the target, who's in a moving car by the way. I don't care for the sniping much in this game. It's more of a timing thing than anything because the sway can be pretty bad and I have no idea how to control it. And no matter what, they'll hear the shot when you take it. If you manage to hit the target, then you need to book it to the exit because everyone is going to be after you. The last mission here is pretty odd. You need to find the target underground and escape with this big console. Again, the close quarters makes it hard to sneak around and the target isn't even on the map, but the bunker isn't big, so you'll find him in the machine very quickly. I'll give these last two areas this. They do have missions that shake things up a bit. The first level in India has you meet up with Agent Smith and he asks you to kill 2 assassins that are on the lookout for you. You can see them on the map, but they're also looking for you, which is pretty neat. It would, in theory, create a game of cat and mouse if I didn't immediately get seen by them and just murdered them. After that, Smith tells you where the exit is, all without letting any slurs slip out. But more assassins spawn in and start heading towards him, and if you're not fast enough or playing defense, they'll kill him and you will lose. It's a neat subversion, but you don't get any hints about it, so it was kind of annoying. If Codename 47 had pulled this, I'd have turned the game off forever. Thank God for saves. The reason we're in India in the first place is to kill a cult leader who stole a nuclear launch system. And to get close, we have to take out his nurse, and for some reason this level requires us to hide her body. I'm sure in a good run that would make sense. You can poison her and then hide her in a closet with drugs, making it look like an overdose. It's not how I did it though. I don't mean to overstate how the guards being able to see through your disguises makes it hard to tell what the right course of action is, but it got really bad here. Once again, they saw through me because they profiled the white guy as the guy who doesn't belong, and I just had to kill everyone who showed up, really making me wonder why I bothered hiding the target. The last India mission though, this one was really good. You need to find a way to reach the cult leader while they wait for heart surgery. It's possible to find a doctor's outfit, and with that, only nurses and doctors can see through you, and there's not too many wandering around where you'll get caught or blindsided. I couldn't figure out how to actually do the kill by faking the surgery, so I shot the guy, but this level went really smoothly. Sure, I had to shoot a few guys down, but it didn't devolve into a shootout like before, and I was able to sneak out almost entirely unseen. Hey! Who the fuck was that taking pot shots at me like some dick? I guess I can't follow him, so I'll just leave. The last 2 levels in this game blow chunks though. Turns out that once again all of our hits have been ordered by the same person. You'd think after last time this happened, where it led to the events where we lost our best agent, we would do more due diligence and look into who our clients are and why they want someone dead. Sergey was using us to retrieve parts of a nuclear arms system that would let him launch nukes that systems detect as American. Think of Metal Gear if it was lame. And he used us to take out everyone who knew about what he was doing. But not only did the cult leader steal it, but after his death, the news broke and he realized that the ICA or 47 must have seen through him and exposed him. It is never said which. So the United Nations asked us to take him out. I think. It's a trap, and I think it said that Sergey called the hit on himself, and for some reason Diana says that taking a hit on a former client is against regulations, with no mention of him breaking the multiple hits rule that the last game said was important. Also, I know for sure that this rule is thrown out in future games. Sergey isn't actually here, it's a trap so that the bolt shooter from the last level can kill us. The reason this level sucks is because for some reason you can't take any weapons with you but the fiber wire, and the fiber wire sucks. There's a sniper like in the first St. Petersburg level, but it has no bullets, and there's no bullets for it anywhere on the map. If the other Agent 17 sees you, he'll kill you on sight. If anyone sees you, there's no way to defend yourself, and 17 has heightened senses, so you can't get close enough to fiber wire him, meaning you'll need to find someone and kill them to pick up their gun. When you do manage to kill 17, Sergey calls him and you pick up to tell him to leave you alone, which he doesn't do because he has Vittorio taking us back to the church to kill everyone in a mission that also doesn't let you take guns, including the guns that you were holding at the end of the last mission. Thankfully, it is possible to get into the weapon shed, but this level just took me way too long. You need to kill everyone pretty much, and they can put you down quickly if you're not careful, and even though you do have all of your weapons in that shed, getting there is another story because you don't start there. You start somewhere else with a lot of guards between you and those silver baller pistols. It feels like this level is trying to improve upon the 48 sequence from the last game, but incorporate more stealth. But since sneaking up on enemies is just not feasible with how slow you are, you can get seen immediately. I had to get them to shoot each other and pick up a gun, then make a dash for the shed to get the silver ballers. From here, it was just a trial and error of figuring out who I can shoot without them all firing on me at once. And some of them have snipers, which, again, put you down quick. Once you finally manage to do it and kill Sergei, who has a shotgun, 47 tells Father Vittorio that he has to leave because he knows that killing is his true purpose in life. And surprisingly, Vittorio doesn't push back much. He just tells him to keep God in his heart. Like, he saw all the dead bodies and was like, yeah, that's where you belong. I wish it was different, but you need to be out there putting in work, my guy. What confuses me is the little monologue that 47 gives at the end. He talks about betrayal and friendship like this game had anything to do with that. And as far as his character goes, I don't know why he went back to the ICA. Was it because he didn't want to put targets on the backs of people around him? Does he just have a boner for murder? The ending wants me to believe that 47's taking a lesson away with him, but I for the life of me can't figure out what that is. This game drops all sense of narrative as early as St. Petersburg. You get glimpses of Sergei's plan, but nothing that relates back to what kicked all of this off. If anything, this monologue fits better with the first game because Ortmeyer is in a way 47's father, and he betrayed him by trying to replace him with mindless slaves. Hell, Agent 17 is just here for the sake of a twist. He doesn't do anything but get shot in the back of the head. It really feels like they made the intro because they thought that 47 would retire after the events of the first game and needed to justify him coming back for the sequel, and then made the rest of the game completely unattached from that and realized at the end, oh, we have to tie it back into the actual plot that we established. I feel like it would have been better if the beginning just had 47 still being a hitman and the only story was Sergei trying to get the nuclear device. Or they make each hit relate to finding Vittorio and have 47 return to the ICA after to not only fulfill his debt, but also keep the target only on him so that the people around him aren't hurt. I'm honestly pretty conflicted about this game. There's no doubt in my mind that it's better than the first. It's way less frustrating, the save system makes getting caught or killed way less punishing, and I didn't need to cheat or use a guide just to beat it. At the same time though, there are places where it felt worse than the first game. You get seen through disguises for seemingly no reason. You have to walk everywhere, and the last two levels truly suck. And I think that holds this game back from truly being something great. I was right when I predicted that this game would be an improvement over Codename 47, but it's still far from perfect. I had fun with it, but honestly I think it kind of fails at what it was trying to do, because it falls into a lot of the same traps that Codename 47 did. And I honestly have no desire to go back and play these levels ever again or go for higher rankings. A step in the right direction, sure, but we still have a long way to go. Next time we'll be taking a look at Hitman contracts. I guess numbering them got lame. And if things continue to improve at this rate, this could be the first truly great game in the series. But we won't know until then, so I hope you have a great day, a beautiful morning, an awesome night. If it is your birthday, then happy birthday. And I forgot to pay those guys. That pastor's totally dead, isn't he?